Hello, 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 hello. Oh, I don't need that in the background. No one needs to see that. No one needs to see my pillow in the background. Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tarot by Hilary Live. And let me not start with the introductions first. Let me start with my splash intro, and then we will actually do the introductions. It's been a while. And by a while, I think it's only been a week. I think. Did I only skip 1 week? Feels like longer than that. It could have been longer than that. But anyway, I am here, and let me put up my. Where is it? Here it is. Where's my evergreen splash video? Let's do that. And then I will come back and I will tell you all what we're doing tonight in case you didn't read the title or the description. I will let you know, but we have our mainstays. We have our Astro-Biz Digest. We have our main episode topic. We're going to have a mid-episode reading, and we're definitely going to have the weekend forecast. So we're back. We're back. And I will be back in about 20 seconds. Okay. All right. So hello and welcome to another episode of Tarot by Hilary Live. I am your hostess with the mostest, Hilary of tarotbyhilary.com, professional tarot reader and EFT tapping practitioner, here to demystify the mystical and put you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition. Because yes, my friends, do not argue with me. You have intuition. So for tonight's episode, it is March 1st, rabbit, everybody. It is March 1st of 2024. And because of that, we have a new tarot deck of the month. And we have started to do this, I think within the last year or so, of doing unboxing videos of the deck that we're going to be using for card of the day pulls. So this month, the month of March, we have the Weiser Tarot. This was something that was sent to me through from Melissa Sonova, because I think she had an extra copy. So yeah. And so this is, because it's Weiser, the Weiser Tarot, I'm assuming the publisher is Weiser Red Wheel. So it is in box. It's got the cellophane. Let me put that up to the mic. But yeah, this is a true unboxing video for the Weiser Tarot. And let me see who's here. Hello to Fran. Hello to Jenny. Welcome. And thank you all so much for understanding when I take a week off from the live stream. It's been a busy week. It's been a busy couple of weeks. So if you are waiting on an email from me, if you've reached out to me and you're waiting on an email from me or a message from me, I got it. Never fear. Like I have seen it. I just am catching up on a lot of correspondence this week. So I will get to you in the order, in your order of appearance. I will get to you in chronological order. But I do see you. I do hear you. All right. So tonight's episode is unboxing the Weiser Tarot. We will have the mainstays of these episodes, like the Astro-Biz Digest. We're going to kick it off. Then about halfway or 3/4 of the way through the episode, we will do the mid-episode reading, in which one lucky viewer will win a 3-card reading with me live here on the broadcast. So please stay tuned for that. That is a benefit that live viewers get that people watching replays don't get. And if you are someone that watches the replays frequently but doesn't attend the lives, like, that is a compelling reason to attend the lives, because otherwise you're not able to win a free reading with me. And like, why would you? Why? Why would you not? I mean, I understand, you know, your schedule might not be able to accommodate watching the live stream every week, but like, try, because there is such a difference between attending live versus getting the replay. And I understand all of our schedules are different, but like, there really is a difference in energy. Either way, if you're watching the replay or you're watching the live, please always feel free to comment, ask your questions. If I don't get to it during the live, I will answer the comments, you know, so yeah. All right, let us start off with the Astro Biz Digest, which is from Teresa Reed, aka the Tarot Lady. It is a fantastic, fantastic subscription service, $99 for the year for astrology in layman's terms, straight to your email inbox. And let me go ahead and display that on screen. So that is AstroBiz Digest, thetarolady.com/AstroBiz Digest with a hyphen in between Astro and Biz, Biz and Digest, for you to get a copy of it for yourself. All right. Okay. So let's pull that up. And I see that people are tuning in both on the Book of Face and the Tube of You. So I'm not too worried about a tech check, because I see that you're tuning in from both places. So I'm going to assume that we're good to go. If at any point you can't see or hear me, please let me know in the chat. I will be able to see it in the chat. I might not know that I'm not broadcasting or being seen, because it looks all copacetic on my end. So you do have to let me know if the audio drops out or if the video drops out. Please and thank you. All right, let's pull up astrology. And I have my water balanced precariously. Hold, please. All right. No major changes in the cosmos this week, the week of February 26th to March 3rd of 2024. However, there is plenty of action. So let's get into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So Friday, today, March 1st, the Sun-Jupiter sextile at 7:15 a.m. Eastern Standard Time makes this whole day awesome for travel or self-expression. But keep your yap closed when the moon squares Venus at 8:09 a.m. Some people might be in a grumpy mood and decide that you're the target. This will blow over in just 2 hours, leaving you free to say what you want or fly high. Venus sextile Chiron at 9:58 a.m. smooths drama and elevates emotional healing. This lingers into the weekend, giving you ample time to inspire, create, and connect in profound ways. Avoid the Moon-Uranus opposition at 12:53 p.m. The public is ugly during that time, and it might be in the news. Or maybe they just want the weekend here right now. In 2 hours after that, this eases up, giving the rest of the day fair game for marketing, research, travel, or secret gatherings. Today, Friday, March 1st, is a power day for Scorpio and a weak day for Taurus. Everyone good so far? Go and hide that. All right, Saturday. Saturday, the moon flies into Sagittarius on Saturday at 8:56 a.m., which means this weekend is for truth, freedom, and adventure. Travel, speak out, and make sure to carve in time for play. It's also nifty for publishing. If you're ready to drop a new offering, do it. Hunches pay off when the moon sextiles Pluto at 11:20 a.m. Trust your gut if you get a feeling about a new offer or business deal. Now for Sunday, Sunday is filled with nothing but messy energy. Ugh, I didn't need to hear that. The planets are not happy on Sundays, so this day is a bust for business. It's best to rest, play, travel, or unplug. Both days, Saturday and Sunday, are power days for Sagittarius and weekdays for Gemini. And I don't have the details on why Sunday is so messy. Besides, the planets are not happy. I don't have any more specifics than that because the AstroBiz Digest does not provide those specifics. So if you're wondering, like, I don't know. I can't tell you why it's messy, but it's apparently Sunday is messy and not good for business. So make sure that you get plenty of rest on Sunday. Don't work if you can't help it. And by the way, if you are seeing people soliciting readings in the chats, please go ahead. Feel free to block, report, and ignore. Please and thank you. Now, while I'm doing my moderator hat thing, please feel free to think back in the past week. And if you have specific questions about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, and are wondering the astrological reason why for those days, if the energy was a little bit hinky, let me know in the chats, and I will pull that information for you from the AstroBiz Digest. All right, moderator hat done. Any questions about Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday? Let's see. I think Monday for me was a little bit weird. And if Tuesday was odd for you, or aggressive, or you're dealing with stubborn people, pushy people, that was because of the Mars squaring Jupiter on Tuesday. Because I do remember at the start of the week, if things were a little bit wacky. All right, are we ready to dive into the Weiser Tarot? Why do I have... Let me check my settings here. All right, much better. I had my mirroring on, so things were looking a little bit weird. Probably looks fine for you. All right, Fran's ready. Please, 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 please. All right. All right. So, description of the Weiser Tarot, and that also reminds me, I didn't do my newsletter today. Newsletter is going to go up this weekend. Probably tomorrow, I'll say. So Weiser Tarot, by Arthur Edward Waite and Pamela Coleman Smith, of course. And this is a fresh and vibrant reimagining of the classic 1909 Waite Smith tarot deck. And it comes with the 78 cards, of course, of the tarot, with a 64-page guidebook. So we have sides, the sides, the sides. We got a barcode, not QR code. This is a legit deck. If you're wondering why I'm emphasizing that, please go back to one of our episodes called Spammers, Scammers, and Charlatans, or the ones, or another one about talking about identifying counterfeit decks. That's 2 episodes. We've got 2 episodes on both, you know, impersonators and also counterfeit decks. So I have my pelican shears here, my embroidery scissors, to open this box without harming the deck. This is a true unboxing. And I also I'm going to pull up some information about this deck first before we dive into it. Because I want to see what the publication date was on this. I think it was this year or last year. I have to look. So a couple of reviews. Benabel Wen reviewed this deck and said, beautifully done and poised to become the go-to tarot deck for the century to come. The Weiser Tarot is a vibrant and luminous refresh for the 1909 Rider-Waite Smith that accentuates the elemental correspondences and updates this popular deck for modern readers. The Weiser Tarot is a new edition of the most popular and influential tarot art ever created, the Rider-Waite Smith deck, first published in 1909. The cards have been newly repainted, while, of course, preserving Pamela Coleman Smith's original line art, creating a fresh, flowing aesthetic. Additionally, the cards provide Hebrew and astrological correspondences for the major arcana, not included in the original Rider-Waite Smith deck, for those seekers who have interest in Kabbalah and astrology. The accompanying book includes a brief history of the tarot, a look at how the Rider-Waite Smith deck came to be, the story behind the creation of the Weiser Tarot, keywords for interpreting the cards, tarot spreads, including a new Ankh spread created especially for the Weiser Tarot, and an annotated list of recommended reading for further study. And let me see what the publication date. Is there a publication date on this? Oh, 2022. So this came out on September 14th of 2022. And tons of different reviews. One of which, Teresa Reed, said the Weiser Tarot is gorgeous and a much needed update to an old classic. Vibrant watercolors add new life to the images, making it a pleasure to read. I especially love the color choices for the suits. This allows the reader to see patterns at a glance. Finally, a version of the RWS that everyone will love. A lot of good feedback on this deck. So let's break into it. And thank you again to Melissa Sonova for sending me a copy of this. Alrighty. Sorry, had to play my moderator hat again. All right, let's break into this. Very excited. Very excited. And by the way, the choice of doing the unboxing of the Weiser Tarot today, that came courtesy of Mr. Tarot by Hilary. So you have Mr. Tarot by Hilary to thank for this episode, because I was just like, oh, should I do a scheduling episode, or should I do an unboxing episode, or should I not do one at all today? Should I just not do the live stream? And he was just like, well, you took off last week, so you should really do it this week. So so thank Mr. Tarot by Hilary for that. All right. Ooh, it feels really good. So the cellophane is off. It feels this box feels really nice. It is a tuck box here. Let's go ahead and lift this baby out. Nice and secure too, which I appreciate. Sometimes you have a tuck box and like you have to like wrap an elastic band or a rubber band or an elastic band or a hair band around it to be able to keep it secure, but not so here. It's nice. It's pretty firm, so it's not too loosey-goosey, so it feels very protected. And then there, top of the box, you have each symbol of the suits for the minor arcana, wands, cups, swords, and pentacles. And there's like a nice, pretty yellow background there. And then you have the book. Looks like the book on top. Wow. These are really pretty. These are really, really, really pretty. I'm just looking at the Fool card and I'm like, wow, like the coloring on this is beautiful. Also note, Weiser Tarot. Here's the guide. The guidebook is this size, so it is small. And on the back of it, it says, this book is part of the Weiser Tarot package, not to be sold separately. Getting my fix in. New deck smell. So, copyright 2022, Red Wheel Weiser. Table of contents, the story of tarot, early history of the tarot, Rider-Waite-Smith tarot, and this tarot deck, the Weiser Tarot. Reading the tarot, beginning your tarot journey, card meanings, major arcana, minor arcana, wands, cups, swords, pentacles, speculative meanings, tarot spreads, and recommended reading. And I'm going back. I want to see some of the spreads. The one card draw. Okay, well, that's what we're going to be doing each day of the month of March. One card draw. 3 card spreads. You know 3 card spreads are my bread and butter. Best card course of action spread, which is another 3 card spread. And Celtic Cross. Interesting. Speaking of Celtic Cross, we did that episode a couple of weeks ago on talking about the Celtic Cross, or a deep dive of the tarot spread of the Celtic Cross. So many companion books are going to give you a version of the Celtic Cross. This one has different positional meanings yet again. Like, for example, card 6 that I read as relationships. This particular book says card 6 represents what is emerging or entering the situation. So, but most of the time for the Celtic Cross, card number 10, that last card is going to be final outcome. So there's differences. There's also commonalities. And then the Ankh spread that is mentioned, that looks like it's a 9 card spread in the shape of an Ankh. Pretty good recommended resources here. Oh, I also got a copy of Madame Pamita's Magical Tarot. I'm excited about that. So many of the recommended resources in here are people that I know or or books that I definitely have and read. So like Joan Bunning, The Big Book of Tarot. I've used Joan Bunning's Reading Tarot Reversals. Her book on tarot reversals is very good too. Amy Zerner and Monty Farber. They created the Enchanted Tarot. The recommended resource here is Instant Tarot. Let's see. Who else? Eden Gray, A Complete Guide to the Tarot. I know a lot of different tarot readers that have used that as a resource. That came out back in 1970. I had a very battered copy myself that I think I stole from the library. And by stole from the library, I mean that I think I borrowed it from the library. I, loaned it out from the library, and I don't think I ever gave it back. So I think there was like late fee fines that went into, like, this book is mine now. And now I don't know where my copy of my Eden Gray book is. I think it's been lost to the sands of time. Tarot for Yourself by Mary K. Greer. Understanding the Tarot Court, also by Mary K. Greer and Tom Little. Madame Pamita's Magical Tarot, which I just received. I haven't read it yet, but I just got that from Melissa as well. 78 Degrees of Wisdom by Rachel Pollack, of course. Teresa Reed, Tarot, No Questions Asked. Let's see. Courtney Weber's Tarot for one. Y'all know we love Courtney here. And Benabel Wen, Holistic Tarot, which is definitely a must read. And Dina's here. Oh, hi, Dina. Hi, Hilary. I love the Weiser Tarot. Okay. Oh, good. I'm so excited. So for those of you who are tuning in for the unboxing of the Weiser Tarot and you already use the Weiser Tarot, let me know what you love about it. Let me know what you love about it. Let me know what your favorite cards from this deck are. So booklets that we are going to be using, because last month's deck of the month was the Darkwood Tarot Mini, which did not come with a guidebook because the mini version does not come with a guidebook. So you had to all make do with my own interpretations, which I think I wasn't that far off. This is the good part about tarot, is once you understand and learned the structure of a tarot deck, you can probably read with most tarot decks on the market, especially if they are Rider-Waite-Smith based. But it's always nice to have that companion book as a port in the storm, as it were, if you're feeling like you need an additional interpretation. So I will definitely be referencing the guidebook in these cases. Sorry, have to adjust. Felt like that was about to fall out of my ear. All right, let's look at these cards. Ooh. The backs are really, really pretty. The bottom of the packaging has that Ankh symbol, which also is the symbol for Red Wheel Weiser. And here's the back. So the back has Ankhs on it. And then this beautiful flower in the middle. So this to me it's almost like the Weiser version of the Radiant Rider-Waite-Smith that US Games came out with. That's my initial impression of this, because, and by the way, you guys should know, if you don't know it already, the Radiant Rider-Waite-Smith is my workhorse tarot deck. That's the one that I'm like, if I'm reading tarot over the phone for my client, or if I'm doing a Zoom reading for a client, I'm either using the Radiant Rider-Waite-Smith or I'm using the Reflective Tarot mini deck, which is based on Radiant Rider-Waite-Smith. So this feels to me like it is an attempt from Weiser to do what US Games did for the Radiant Rider-Waite-Smith. Now, I could be wrong about that. This is just my initial impression. And Dina says, very shuffleable. Soft colors quickly became a fave. Fantastic. Easy to shuffle. All right. It's coming off. The binding is coming off. It is free. I can see why it would be easy to shuffle. It does feel very nice. It's like I don't have the language for the cardstock. Cardstock is not flimsy, but it's not too thick either, which lends to good shuffling. Dina, do you have any favorite cards? And let's just start to go through these in order. We're not going to have time to do all 78 cards. You are going to see the major arcanas here, and then you're going to see the rest of the deck as we work with it for the deck of the month for a card of the day pulse on my social media accounts. So looking very quickly here. I see. Okay. So here is the Fool card. And the lighting in here is not that great because it's really not showing how bright and pretty the colors are. So I'm just going to move it closer to the camera so you can see that. Like, it's not just a one note yellow in the background. It has different shades of yellow in the background. The robe is not green, or the tunic is not green. It's green and yellow and red. The tights are a light blue. The boots are yellow. The dog is white and gray. The mountain is different shades of brown. I mean, like, these are beautiful. And so I see what they were saying about both the Kabbalistic and the astrological or planetary correspondences, because you have them right at the bottom where the name of it is. So you have the Hebrew letter that corresponds on one side, and then you have the astrological symbol on the other side. So there is the Fool, the Magician. Wow. These are really, really beautiful. Really beautiful. Oh, the High Priestess. Like, I think the word that is brought to mind looking at these colors are lush. Like, this, the colorization of this deck, it's just lush. It's delicious. Look at that. High Priestess. Empress. Emperor. Hierophant. The Lovers. The Chariot. Strength. Notice that strength is 8. The Hermit. The Wheel of Fortune. Justice, and Justice is number 11. The Hanged One. So we got a little bit of renaming going on, but I think that's to the good, because we did talk about that in Card Slinkers, about the Hanged One instead of the Hanged Man. Death. Wow. Like, and even with this coloration, it still feels very true. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just feels very true to the Rider-Waite-Smith sensibility. Like, what I mean by that is, like, I just looked very carefully at the death card, and just to see if the white horse had red eyes, and it does. Now, if they had made a different choice, I don't know if I would have liked that very much. Like, I am pretty progressive, but you know, there are some things that I'm just like, nope, it has to have this in order to be the death card for me, or it has to have this in order to be the high priestess card for me. And you know, the red eyes on the white horse for the death card, like, that's kind of, I need that. The devil, the tower, the star. Wow, the star is so pretty. The moon, the sun, judgment, and the world. All right, and that is the major arcana. Now, before I shuffle these up, because I am going to give the mid-episode reading from the Weiser Tarot from this deck, so I am going to have to shuffle it up in order to do that. I am going to take your requests on which cards you want to see before I go ahead and I shuffle it up. So since we've already gone through the major arcana, I am going to go ahead and shuffle up the major arcana while I'm sitting here talking to you guys, or while you're figuring out which cards you want to see from the minor arcana. And Dita is correct. They are very shuffleable. Easy to shuffle. I don't know, shuffleable. It's a word. Sure. Why not? All right. So Jenny is requesting Queen of Pentacles and Nine of Pentacles, please. You got it. So I can see what Teresa was saying about the colorization and how it helps, because each of the different suits has a background of a color so that you know right away which suit it belongs to without it being too, like, in your face in a way, which I like. So Pentacles has a green background, but it's a light green background. It's like, it's subtle. You know, like, you can tell it's green, but it is pretty subtle. So we have the Nine of Pentacles. And we have the Queen of Pentacles. Again, the Nine and the Queen. I don't know, some of these cards are a little bit darker than I would like to see, like, so that, you know, some of the detail work, I think gets a little bit muddled. Like, for example, in the Nine of Pentacles, you can barely see that that snail is a snail. See the snail? The snail is there on the Nine of Pentacles, but it's really, really hard to see. Yeah, the colors on the Queen are beautiful. I agree with you. But still, like, because the throne is so dark in comparison, it's hard to make out some of the details. So I will say that that might be a con. That might be a con to working with this deck, but we'll see. Any other requests? I mean, I already looked at the High Priestess. I'm going to look at the Queen of Swords because I know most of the group here are queen kind of girlies. We're always looking to see what the queens look like. So here's the Queen of Wands. So you've got like that yellowy orange background, which looks to be a little bit more intensified when you get into the court cards, which I can appreciate. Like here's the difference. Like here's the 10 of Wands, which has got like the yellow background. And then when you move into the Page of Wands, that first court card, it more is like it's a deepened version of that color. So that could be intentional. Now for Cups, it's interesting because the Page of Cups is quite a light background as compared to the Queen of Cups. I'm going to go to the Queen of Swords, and then I'm going to show you guys the Three of Cups, since Dina's saying it's beautiful. Not a huge fan. Not a huge fan of the Queen of Swords here, because look at that face. Like, that's just a mean face. Like, she looks very disgruntled. Now let's see the Three of Cups. Yeah, I agree. Three of Cups is beautiful, Dina. It is beautiful. And Lynn is here. Hello to Lynn. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're just exploring the Weiser Tarot. All right. I'm going to look at the Three of Swords, just for funsies. Wow, really pretty colors, though. Really, really pretty colors. Any other requests before I go ahead and shuffle up the minor arcana? And I'm just going to sniff the new cards. Sniff them. Love them. Any other requests on cards that you want to see before we move into the mid-episode reading? And I'm going to fix my hair. I need a haircut desperately. It's bad. It is bad. She wild. Oh, and I just detangled her earlier today, and it feels like it's tangled again. There we go. Okay. All right, I'm not seeing any requests, probably because it's not that far off from a RWS deck, right? Like, you know what the images look like. If you're familiar with Rider-Waite-Smith and that baseline of tarot deck knowledge or tarot knowledge, you know, the Three of Swords is going to look like the Three of Swords. The Tower is going to look like the Tower. The Two of Pentacles is going to have a juggler. You know, like, it's, if you're already familiar with RWS, like, you know what each card is going to look like. And it's just a matter of the colorization is going to be like what the difference is. So, like, wow, like the Four of Swords. You got the Four of Swords, but look at that stained glass in the Four of Swords. Like, those are the slight and subtle differences, or not so subtle differences. So I'm going to go ahead and start shuffling this up. And then I'm going to shuffle up the Major Arcana again. Then I'm going to integrate the Major Arcana into the Minor Arcana. And then I'm going to shuffle reversals into it, because this deck feels like, yeah, I can read this with reversals. Not a problem. There are some decks that I don't read reversals with. They're few and far between. Like the Witch Sister Tarot deck. We also have an unboxing of that one. If you're not familiar, you can check out the replays. All the replays are available on my Book of Face channel or my Tube of You channel. But that deck, for some reason, to me, I was just like, I don't need to read this with reversals, because it's pretty straight to the point to begin with. I just didn't feel it necessary to read with reversals, so I didn't. There are some decks that can be like that. And actually, I think I did a podcast episode answering that question too, where it's just like, have you ever come across decks where, you know, this is asking for reversals, or it's not necessary to read with reversals? And the answer is yes. All right, Minor Arcana is shuffled. Now I'm going to integrate in the Major Arcana. And I'm going to do this face down, so I'm not seeing what's being integrated. I integrate like a few of them, you know, just placing them in wherever I feel like, and then shuffling, and then placing in some more until they're fully integrated. And before we do the mid-episode reading, I am just going to pull a card to ask the deck, what do I need to know about working with it this month? Which I didn't do, I don't think, last month when I did the unboxing of the Darkwood Tarot deck. Or maybe I did. I can't remember. Does anyone remember if I did that? All right, so I'm just going to remember the death card, because that one just flipped upright right in front of my face. So that very well could be the message that I needed to know about working with this deck. It's a deck of transformation and change, or something needs to end. Yeah, Jenny says, don't think so. Yeah, I didn't think so either. All right, Major Arcana is fully integrated. Shuffling overhand. And now to integrate reversals, take the deck, split it, turn it over, put it back together again, and shuffle. That's how I introduce reversals into a deck if I want to read it with reversals. What was like 3 years ago? What the dark one? May feel like 3 years ago. Yeah, the first of the month. The first of the month was like 3 years ago. Yeah, I know. It feels like it. Sure feels like it. All right. So what do I need to know about working with this deck this month? What do I need to know about working with this deck this month? All right. Now you saw how much I shuffled. You saw how much I shuffled. New journey, new beginnings. Keep an open mind. This deck may surprise you. Those are all the things that I'm getting from pulling the Fool card. Okay, then. And since I pulled the Fool card, let me go ahead, go to the guidebook. You know, sometimes tarot can be really, really literal, can't it? So the Fool means, according to the guidebook, innocence, a free spirit, risk-taking, opportunities, simplicity, faith, trust, folly, extravagance, intoxication, danger, unknown territory, negligence, absence, distribution, carelessness, apathy, and vanity. So it feels like the first set of keywords was for like the upright meaning, and the next set of keywords was for the reverse meaning. So that's my interpretation anyway. All right, let's do this. Let's do the mid-episode reading. So, and we have keywords now where you can participate. So let me choose the keyword. And I think the keyword should be Weiser. So got that there. And let me update the ticker. So Dina says, can you comment on the guide to reverses in this guidebook? Very different. I didn't read that yet, so let's look. While we're waiting. Standardized meanings for the cards do exist, but individual interpretations of each card can vary greatly. A card that is disliked by one person may be another's favorite. Allow yourself to have your own experiences. If you're new to tarot, examine each card one by one prior to considering the interpretations of others. Oh, sorry, I need to put in the. You'll have to comment again, because I need to put up the lottery jar in this comment snake. There we go. All right, Dina, go ahead and comment Weiser again, please. Sorry about that. I don't see that. Recurrence. A recurrence of reversed cards. I see it. Here it is. I found it. No exclamation point, Dina. Otherwise, it's not going to come up. So reversed cards on page 38. In the process of shuffling or handling cards, inevitably some will be turned upside down. An upside down card is known as a reversed card. What does it mean? Some argue that it means nothing. It's just an upside down card. These readers will simply flip the card right side up and interpret it as usual. Others, however, believe that reversals possess their own meanings and that this should be considered during interpretation. Reverse cards may be understood as underscoring a card's meaning. For example, among the traditional interpretations of the Four of Pentacles is the recommendation to be frugal. A reversed Four of Pentacles might be interpreted as adding emphasis to this recommendation, or it could be indicating a literal reversal of meanings, its opposite. As you can see, this is complicated. Those new to the cards may wish to ignore reversals until they feel ready to consider them. Should you decide to interpret the reversal, you must decide your interpretation method before turning cards face side up in order to maintain an impartial reading. Yeah, so reversals double down or underscore the upright meaning. Yeah, I mean, you could read reversals that way, sure. To me, it's a little more subtle than that, and I do understand that that people will approach reversals differently. And I mean, like, there's been entire books written on the subject of reversals. But for me, reversals are helpful because of the visual representation of where the energy is going. Like, for example, in a cups card that's reversed, it could be that the energy is leaving the situation, and it's just like you may need to conserve that energy because all the cups are tipped over, therefore there's nothing to hold that energy, so it's leaving the situation. In other instances, it could be an emphasis. So yes, I mean, I understand what they're trying to say, but I do agree with the recommendation that if you're new to tarot and you're already overwhelmed to begin with when reading tarot, maybe hold off on reading with reversals, because there are some readers that don't read with reversals at all. They just feel their way, and that is completely and utterly valid. Like, only you can say what's going to work for you. To me, I started reading with reversals because I thought I wasn't going to be a real tarot reader unless I read with reversals. Like, silly me. So I drove myself completely batty trying to figure out how to read with reversals. And this is the reason why I mentioned Joan Bunning's book on reading tarot reversals, because like, I was just like, am I doing this wrong? Because in some situations it absolutely merited it. And in other situations, I'm just like, oh no, never mind. Like, we have a Card Slingers episode, I think the Card Slingers episode that talks about reversals, where Melissa said, I did a reading and I thought I was hot shit. And, you know, all these cards came out reversed. So she was just like, there's no way that all of these are reversed. I'm going to flip them right side up and read them as right side up. And her client was just like, no, you were right the first time. Everything sucks right now and everything's shit right now. Which, by the way, is not necessarily what reversals mean. It just happened to mean that in that particular reading. So it's just like, reversals are not a bad thing. And there are certainly some cards that I prefer to see that reversed, like the Five of Pentacles. I would prefer to see the Five of Pentacles reversed, as opposed to, you know, like Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords, I don't want to see reversed, because usually my personal meaning for that card, or my personal interpretation for that card, is that somebody's being really sneaky and they're getting away with it. With the upright meaning of the Seven of Swords, it's just like you're onto that person. So it can be very subtle, and it also can be very like on the nose. So it's really hard to determine. And I don't even know, like I was looking back at my book, How to Read Tarot, and I don't remember if I even addressed reversals in my first book. And I'm just like, ooh, that's a massive oversight. But at the same time, I was writing to contract, and they didn't ask for a chapter on reversals, I don't think. So I don't think I spoke about reversals, or I don't think I wrote about reversals. And I'm just like, oops, guess that's for my next book. Or you can just come and watch the live stream, and I'll tell you exactly what I think about reversals or how I read reversals. So Jenny says, I kind of like that way of reading reversals. Me too. And Dina says, I picked the Hermit reversed for March, so feel like it might be a more social month. Yeah, or it might be that it's just like you're putting yourself out there, even if you don't feel like it, even though it feels uncomfortable for you, but it might be that sign that you need to put yourself out there. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it might not be like you're being pushed to be social for more reasons than just being social for social's sake. And you're not going to see that reason until that reason happens to you. That's my interpretation anyway. Can somebody please put Weiser in the chat so I can do a reading for you? Otherwise it's going to go to Dina, because she put Weiser in the chat twice and it just didn't pick up both times. Or spelling it differently. Weiser. Right, exactly. So Dina's saying, I never feel like it. Should I just not do the keyword? There we go. All right, Fran did it. Dina, copy paste. Copy paste from Fran. Then we've got a battle. And I'm going to go ahead and put a countdown timer so that we can set this off. All right. Does anyone have any other questions for me? That's a really good question about reversals. And I'm just like, where is it? You know, and it's like, it's all the way at the back of the guidebook. I mean, it's a hard thing to describe too. I mean, like, this is part of the reason why I say, like, you know, there's only so much you can learn from books, from reading books, in the way of an experiential practice like tarot. Like, you're not going to get better at tarot unless you're constantly practicing. And most of the time you have, yeah, all right, Dina's in. Most of the time you do have a lot of willing guinea pigs. So, and sometimes not so willing guinea pigs, as the case may be. Like, there was one of my students that asked me, I don't have anyone that I can practice on or practice with. What do I do? And I'm just like, well, you know, public figures are in the public for a reason, and don't feel that you have to send them your tarot readings, but practice on them. You know, like, they are like, is it slightly unethical? Well, I don't know. It depends on your point of view. But it's not like you're going and contacting these people and saying, oh, I predict that you're going to have a baby by the end of the month or by the end of this year. It's just like, no, like, nobody needs to see your tarot practice or your tarot notes if you need someone to practice on. It's just like, or practice on me, you know, like, or practice on other tarot readers. Like, you know, if you want practice, like, I do have a reading exchange on Facebook. It's a Facebook group. Let me know, like message me and let me know if you want to be included in there. And that is a safe space for you to practice your skills. Now, I'm not saying make all the arrangements in the Facebook group, but then you have a group of people that are willing to practice on or practice with, without you feeling like you have to garner guinea pigs from your friend group if you know that your friends are not into it. So, right, exactly. So Dina says you do get data on them from the news. And, so it's like that's going to be in the news anyway. It's going to happen anyway. They're always going to report on the royals, on the royal family. They're always going to report on different celebrities. They're always going to report on different political figures. And who knows what can happen from you practicing that way? It could be you could get really good at sports predictions. It could be that you could get really good at celebrity predictions. It could be that you get really good at political predictions, even. So you never know. I mean, like I was contacted. I did some work for Maxim magazine like a million years ago now. It's a while. But doing predictions for the Super Bowl, that happened. That wouldn't have happened unless Teresa Reed hadn't recommended me for that, but she didn't do sports predictions at the time. Now, of course, I've seen her do Oscar predictions and Grammy predictions and Emmy predictions and Super Bowl predictions. So, it's kind of funny. In a couple of years, like, it's just like, oh, okay, I can do that. Because the fun part about that is most of the time, the less I know about something, the better the reading is. Like when I did Super Bowl predictions, I was asked to do Super Bowl predictions in October. Now, if any of you follow football, you know that, the Super Bowl doesn't happen until February or late January, early February of the next year. But I was on the phone with the Maxim editor in October pulling cards. And the funny thing was, I pulled cards, and I think I was using my Legacy of the Divine deck by Tira Marchetti. And one of the sword suit, I think it was the Knight of Swords, had a very like Archangel Michael quality to it. So I said the Saints. And at the time that I had said it, I went back. This is like I actually did this on my lunch break at my former job. I went and sat outside on a bench, and unfortunately, it was a pretty warm day. And I pulled my tarot cards, and I was on the phone with the editor, and basically gave the interview on my predictions. And then I went back inside to the office, and my husband, and we weren't married at this point. We weren't even engaged at this point. He asked me like, oh, well, what were your predictions? How'd it go or whatever? And I was just like, well, I said the Saints, and I wasn't even keeping up with anything. And he was just like, they're the number one seed. Like they're the number one team right now. So it's just like, you definitely hit on something. I'm like, oh, really? Okay. But that's just the way it goes. But yeah, that's a great way of practicing. Hold, please. I need to play. Like I'm just having to ban people at this point. Not you guys, not the regulars. So Dina says, what does tarot say about Kate Middleton? Like, I mean, that's an excellent example, right? That's an excellent example. There are some conspiracy theorists that are saying that she's having like plastic surgery to increase her butt. I mean, and that it usually takes 2 to 3 months of recovery time, like. So if you're one of those people that are wondering, what does tarot say about that? Why don't you pull some cards and find out and write it down? You don't have to share that information with anyone, but write it down and then, watch the news and see what comes up and then check your work and see, oh, well, that looks like that was out of left field, but I could see how this card or this interpretation would mean this. So I'm not pulling cards on Kate Middleton. I don't like, sorry, guys, like this is my job. like I do this for the living. Like at this point, I don't need the practice. I don't need the willing participants because they pay me for readings. But what Dina is saying is an excellent example of if you don't have any willing guinea pigs. Check out the news, pull cards. Like, yes, is it mildly unethical? Like, sure, but check in with your gut, check in with your ethics. Public figures are public figures. Like, you are going to be able to fact check yourself, basically, and see, oh, well, this happened. Well, this happened. Anywho, let's pull the winner of the mid-episode reading. Before I keep on going, before I wax completely philosophical, let's pull. So we've got Fran and we've got Dina in the running. Drum roll, please, and pick a winner. And it is Fran. Fran is the winner of the mid-episode reading for this week. Air horn noise. Boo, boo, boo. Fran, please go ahead and put your question into the chat, and I will pull 3 cards from the Weiser Tarot for your reading. And just a reminder, everybody, we do this every Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, sometimes a little bit later than that, depending. So please, tune in. We've been doing this for the past over 4 years now, so there are plenty of replays available on so many different subjects, divination topics, different divination systems, different witchy topics or metaphysical topics. Definitely tarot training and tarot learning as well. Unboxing videos as well of new and different decks. I have also been curating my deck collection. And by deck collection, I do mean every kind of deck, including charm casting, and mediumship and Ouija spirit boards as well. I moved 8 months ago and I'm still finding stuff because I'm lazy and overwhelmed sometimes. But I have been finding some decks that I'm just like, oh, that's where that was. Okay. Like, for example, I'm going to give you a little preview of the weekend forecast. I am so happy about this, by the way. Animal Spirit, Wild Unknown Animal Spirit, with the guidebook, with the freaking guidebook. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna pull a card from the Animal Spirit deck for the weekend forecast. But like I'm so happy. Like, I didn't even realize that I had these. So these are Stick Peeps fancy Zayner cards. So these are ESP cards. So, they've got the waves, the stars, the circle, and the plus sign. Wave, star, circle, plus, and waves. Waves. Yes. And you can use these cards to test ESP, basically. And I didn't even realize I had these. I didn't even realize that I still had these until I went through a couple of boxes. So that is to your benefit if you book a reading with me. You can totally choose which deck that you get read from. So Fran's question is, I have been completely out of sorts. No journaling, no daily card pulls. Will I be able to get back on track? So I'm going to modify your question a little bit because will you is a yes or no question. And most of the time, tarot doesn't like yes or no questions very much. It's kind of using a cannon to kill a mosquito. So tarot enjoys more of a how. So I'm going to pull that kind of wording into the question and not just say, will I be able to get back on track, but how can I get back on track? Okay. Because sometimes the mere act of getting a tarot reading can be the thing that causes you to become unstuck. Not all the time, but some of the time. All right, I see a thumbs up from Fran, and I think we're ready. Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Well, that's a very clear reading. And 2 out of the 3 cards are major arcana cards. So I'm just going to tell you what you got. I'm going to give my reading first, and then I'm going to go to the guidebook because I don't want to be unduly influenced from the guidebook. But the very first card that you're getting is the Hierophant card reversed. So to me, that is very much saying that you've been out of sorts, that you haven't been doing the journaling, you haven't been doing the daily card pulls. Yes, I think you will be able to get back on track, but I have a feeling because of the Hierophant card coming up reversed that it's more of a crisis of faith or a crisis of belief or confidence rather than anything else. So it's interesting, like when my Fridays are my live stream days and my podcast recording days for Card Slingers and sometimes for my own standalone podcast when I get around to it. Let's not talk about that. But it's also my therapy days. So we were just talking about in therapy this word that describes a lack of pleasure in the things that used to give you pleasure. And so I feel like that is kind of like wrapped up in the Hierophant card reversed as well. So there's like crisis of confidence, crisis of faith, and also not finding pleasure in the things that you used to find pleasure in. Hold please. I need that. What's the word? It's a because I looked it up after I looked it up after therapy. I'm not going to pronounce it. I'm not going to pronounce it correctly, but it's called anhedonia. It's an inability to experience pleasure from activities usually found enjoyable. And some common causes of it can include overwork, recent tragedy, financial problems, bad weather, boring activities, the inability to feel pleasure. So the fact that like I just learned about that word today, I feel like it's just wrapped into the Hierophant card coming up reversed. So maybe it's just a change of habit, change of scenery as well, because you are getting the 6 of Swords upright as the 3rd card. So it's just like, but something needs to be tweaked. But I think the reason for it is because of one, the lack of joy in the things that you used to find pleasurable, and also a little bit of a crisis of faith, I would say, with the Hierophant card coming up reversed. Now, another interpretation of the Hierophant reversed to me is turning tradition on its head, like quite literally turning tradition on its head, because the upright meaning of the Hierophant can mean dogma or going through the motions or doing things for tradition's sake, like this is how things have always been done. And the fact that it's coming up reversed is like the way things were working, it cannot work anymore. So you've got to turn it on its head in order to find something new and different. So that's card number 1. Card number 2 is the Justice card. So to me, that out of sorts is due to a lack of balance as well, because you've got the scales right there. And the journaling, the no daily cards. So it's just like, justice to me is a very like writer-y card. You know, it's just like, it's about dictating, setting in motion, writing it down. A lot of the time when I work with writers, I get the justice card. I don't know why. Maybe it's the big ass sword. I'm not sure. Like swords, like the pen is mightier than the sword. That's kind of what I think of in my weird tarot brain. And so it's just like, you may need to introduce different prompts to get your brain firing in a different way in order to prompt the journaling. But sometimes, like with the journaling process, it's like you have to write through the crap in order to get to the good stuff. And it's just like, so it doesn't matter what you journal. And it doesn't matter that the journaling is crap, because no one has to see it. No one has to see it. So that's for you. So make it be for you. Even if your journaling is all work and no play makes Fran a dull girl, and 50 million times, you know, eventually, yeah, right, exactly. So Dina's saying like artist pages might help, like morning pages, like 750words.com or new750words.com. Just writing it out and writing it through can get you through. But the combination of the Hierophant reversed and the Justice card to me is just like, these are the things that I'm advising. And then with the Six of Swords, it's also kind of answering your question of, will I be able to get back on track? The answer is yes. Because if this was reversed, I would say you're sailing into choppier waters. This, you're sailing out of choppier waters into smoother sailing. Like you're coming through something. Like no transformation comes without some sort of, not necessarily suffering, but it's just like anything worth doing has a little bit of a hard element to it. And I feel like this out of sorts portion of it is like a little bit of a dark night of the soul that may be necessary to come through and write through for you to come out the other side. Now, I'm going to pull one more card to clarify. Yeah. Again, that balancing act, Two of Pentacles, right on top of the Justice card. Like there's the balance right there. There's the scales. Remember that balance is not a noun, it's a verb. Some days are going to be better than others. Some days of the journaling, like just putting pen to paper, just writing down 3 words is better than no words. Dina also has her own interpretations in the chat. Watch some sad movies, have a cathartic cry. Yeah, do some tapping too. No journaling, no daily card pulls. Will I be able to get it back on track? Even though I am so worried that I'm not going to get back in track, I still love and accept and forgive myself. I know that some days are going to be better than others in my journaling practice, in my card of the day practice. And there are some days that, you know, I'm going to eat some chocolate and cry on the couch. And that's going to have to be enough. And I deeply love and accept and forgive myself on days when I'm not feeling as productive. From darkness into light, exactly. There's going to be some dark days. I acknowledge there's going to be some dark days. And I acknowledge that the light days can't happen without the dark days, and the dark days can't happen without the light days. And some days are just going to be messy or out of sorts. But I'm willing to start imperfectly. And maybe my journaling will prompt my daily card pulls, or maybe my daily card pull will prompt my journaling. Or maybe those two practices are completely separate from each other. But I forgive myself for this rut that I'm in. I forgive myself. It's not always going to be sunshine and unicorn farts. But I believe that I'm able to get back on track. And so it is. And that's just side of the hands. Like, you can go through an entire tapping. And I'm quite willing to accept tapping requests as well, because you know I can do that too. Yes, Dina says, Hilary has a plentiful toolbox of help. I sure do. So those are the cards that are coming up. Let's take a look at the companion book. So Hierophants. Yeah, that doesn't really help. I saw this before. They're pretty traditional keywords, honestly. It would be helpful if we had the, like, where's the, I don't know if it has the symbolism in here. Hold on. Yeah, I can't tell you what the Kabbalistic meanings are, or even some of the planetary meanings. Because I can't read those symbols. So I'm not going to go to the guidebook because I don't think it's necessary in this case. Fran, let me know if this reading helped you. If you want me to go to the guidebook, I'll go to the guidebook, but I think this reading is complete without it. Like, how do you normally do your journaling practice? Do you do it at home? Do you do it at a cafe or a coffee shop? Do you do it outside? Because, like, that Six of Swords is really, like, in my craw right now. And I feel like it's just like a change of scenery would probably help. Okay, cool. Awesome. Yes, I have the tools. I have the tools. She can rebuild you, make you faster, stronger. The other night I did my my tapping for sleep and resting anxious bedtime brain, and I swear I was out within 5 minutes. 5 minutes. So I'm like, oh crap, okay, this tapping thing works. And it's just like, I don't know why I'm so skeptical about my own tapping. It's just like, I revisited that and I recorded that and published that over a year ago, and it still works. And I really want to emphasize to people, like, replayability is, like, very fascinating for tappings. That someone could put out a tapping and, you know, someone else can view it and follow along with it and do the tapping points and say the words like 4 years in the future, and it'll work for them. That's very cool to me. Dina says Taurus and Libra energy, very Venusian. What is attractive to Fran right now? Follow the muse. Yeah. Yes. Yes, I do. I do have that on the Tube of You. There are 2 playlists that I created on the Tube of You. One is requested tapping videos. Those are the ones that I've done by popular request. And one of them was the sleep for anxious bedtime brain. And then there's another one that's EFT tapping videos. That's a curated playlist of different tapping practitioners. A lot of Gala Darling on there. Gala Darling, Brad Yates, oh gosh, Tap Into Magic. And I feel like one more person had a really good one on there. But yeah, and all of those tapping videos I've done myself. So I've like test drove them before I've added them to the playlist. And I'm currently in a clinical trial for tapping for eyesight. So I have to actually do that. But it's like an 8-week based thing. And it does go in order. So it's just like you have to complete 1 week to move to have the videos unlocked for the next week. So yeah, that's through Bond University in Australia. And Dr. Peter Stapleton, who wrote The Science Behind Tapping, is one of the, I think, curators, I guess, of the clinical trial. Yes, please give it a try. And also journaling around that prompt really might help. I will show you what it looks like. Hold, please. I swear, I just did it before. I'm very excited about this. It's like history. Let's look up the history, considering, yeah, I literally had just done this. It's 16 minutes in length. I'm going to click on that. And yeah, that came out a year ago. I think I produced that in December of last year. And I do mean like December of 2022, if I'm remembering correctly. Hold on, let me see. Here, I'm going to put it on screen so that you can see it, so you know what it looks like. It's this one right here. Yeah, go to sleep tapping for calming, anxious bedtime brain. It's available on my YouTube, youtube.com/@tarot by Hilary. And I'll also put the link into the chat as well. And I hope it helps, because it helped me. In fact, like I'm starting to yawn just looking at it. So if that isn't a rousing endorsement for tapping, or that particular tapping, I don't know what is. All right. So thank you once again to Fran for allowing me to read for you. It's a responsibility that I don't take lightly. And I know it can be very vulnerable to get a reading or receive a reading, a tarot reading in a public forum like this. So I thank you for your vulnerability and the honor of reading for you. So that is our unboxing of the Weiser Tarot. Thank you all so much for joining me. And we will be using this deck all month long for the month of March for Card of the Day polls on my social media channels. So Gram of Insta, Tarot by Hilary. Tube of You, Tarot by Hilary. Talk of Tick, Tarot by Hilary. Book of Face, Tarot by Hilary. All of my different social media accounts. And you can always, of course, follow me or find my social media account on my website, tarotbyhilary.com. So with that being said, it is time for the weekend forecast. And like I said before, little surprise from my curation of my decks. We're going to go with the Animal Spirit from the Wild Unknown. And I'm going to have a sip of water before I do so. Dina's right. These shuffle very well. Nice shuffleability. Okay. So, Animal Spirit, let's see what this weekend has in store for us. I do really like this deck. So besides the astrology at the top of the episode about the weekend, especially like Sunday is not a great day to work. So take the day off on Sunday if you can. What do we need to know about this weekend? Oh, Swan. All right. We are needing to cultivate our Swan energy this weekend. So, from the guidebook, what does the Swan mean? Effortless creativity, sensitive, mystic, and elegant power. The swan represents heightened creativity. In Hindu mythology, the goddess Saraswati, the embodiment of language, creativity, and artistry, rides on the back of this graceful creature. The swan is ready to take us there, to the fluid realm of writing, creating, and reflecting. This potent and healing energy is not to be taken for granted or taken lightly. When the swan card appears, your soul is calling for attention, for solo time. An inner voice is waiting to be heard, an inner vision likely to be revealed. So, Fran, this is like an addendum to your mid-episode reading. When in balance, infinite creative power. When out of balance, agitated, snippy, and lacking vision. And to bring into balance, solo time and writing. So, Fran, this is your weekend to get back on track with your journaling. This is your permission. Feel free to take your favorite image of a swan and put it wherever it is that you do your writing, or wherever it is that you want to do your writing or journaling, and be inspired. And even if you're not inspired, do it. Butt in the chair, right through it. You're very welcome. So, on that note, we are done with tonight's episode. Thank you all so much for watching and for exploring the Weiser Tarot with me. I really appreciate it. Friend says, I hear you. Awesome. And, if you want to experience the card of the day polls, follow me on all of my social media accounts. If you want to book a reading with me, tarotbyhilary.com for tarot readings and tapping sessions. I am available for both in any ways that I might help you or to serve you. I thank you all so much for watching. We do this every week, Fridays, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you would like to express your appreciation in monetary form, please book a reading with me, or feel free to use the virtual tip jar, paypal.me/tarot by Hilary NY, or share one of your favorite videos with your friends. All of it is really helpful to me as a tarot and tapping practitioner. All right. I thank you all so much for watching. Once again, I am Hilary, professional tarot reader and tapping practitioner, here to demystify the mystical and put you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition. Because yes, my friends, do not argue with me. You have intuition too. Have a fabulous weekend and a wonderful week, and I will see you again Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And where is this? Put down my crawler, remove this. Bye.